When was the last time you spoke a blessing over someone? I'm not talking about a compliment, not a quick good job, but a real, intentional, spirit-filled blessing. Because here's the truth. The words you carry weigh more than you realize. This is Leading 10. I'm Chris Moore, and today we're diving into a forgotten leadership superpower, the power of blessing others. Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 through 26 say this: The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. This passage, it's known as the priestly blessing. And it wasn't just a nice prayer. It was God's idea. He wanted his people to be blessed. He wanted his leaders, his priests, to speak it over them. Because when a leader speaks blessing over those they lead, it changes things. It shifts that atmosphere. It calls out destiny, and it strengthens those who are weary. It boosts their heart. And today we need that kind of leadership more than ever. You know, today's world, all we see is criticism. We see criticism of other people, of events, of everything going on around us. We are quick to tear down one another. We're quick to highlight faults and failures, especially in other people. But great leaders, they're not like that. They build. They speak life into people. They encourage potential. They call out the best in others, even when it's still hidden. And it's not just about being positive all the time. It's about being prophetic. It's about trying to look into people, into events, see what God sees, and then begin speaking as God did, speaking those things that you see in other people into existence by speaking into their lives. So what does this say about us? Well, first, it says we often underestimate the power of our own words. We get busy. We get frustrated. We assume people know that we appreciate them, but we don't say it. And what does this say about God? Well, it tells us that God loves to bless his people. He loves to protect. He loves to favor. He loves to grant peace to those who follow him, but he chooses to do that through us, through leaders who are willing to open their mouths and release words of life. You know, in this podcast series, I talk a lot about leaders, but many times when I'm speaking, I'm also thinking of myself as a parent. What do I speak into my son's life, into the other young men and women that I come into contact with? What do I speak into theirs? Because I know that many times their parents, their teachers, their peers are not speaking words of life, words of encouragement. They're not speaking the things that God would have them to know. That's not the message that they're getting. So think about it. You might be the only voice in someone's life today that speaks a blessing into them instead of a burden, instead of cutting them down, instead of chastising, instead of criticizing. One word from you could restore someone's hope. One prayer over someone could revive their courage and help them to keep going when things seem insurmountable. One intentional blessing could shift the entire direction of someone's day or even their destiny or the destiny of their family. Your words carry great power. You should use them wisely. And you don't have to be a pastor to bless someone. You don't need a microphone. You don't need a special title. You don't need anything other than just a heart that's willing to see the gold in others and then to call it out. The Lord bless you. That's simple, yet it's very profound. That's leadership. So what's the leadership application today? One is that we should always speak life intentionally. Speak life intentionally into our work, into our friends, into our family, into our team, into our customers, into the people that we deal with every day. We should bless them. Bless your team. Bless your family, bless your friends, and not just for what they do, but for who they are. Be very specific. Be sincere. Be led by the Spirit in the words that you choose. Don't just wait for some big milestone to happen, to accomplish some project, or someone accomplishes something. Don't wait for that to speak blessings. Do it in the everyday moments, before a meeting, before you have a hard conversation. When you see someone struggling or when you see them thriving, bless and be proactive. Don't just react. Get in front of the problems and speak blessing into people. Your blessing could be the very spark that reminds someone who they really are, what they're called to be, and who they're called to be in, not just because you're flattering them, but because you're partnering with God on what God is already saying about them, about how he sees them, about what he wants for them, about where he sees them in life and what they could accomplish and what they could be in him. And here's the thing, blessings like this, blessing others, doesn't drain you. It multiplies. It brings life back into you as you sow encouragement. You reap it. Blessing others, it keeps your heart softer. It helps you soften. It makes your leadership strong. You know, maybe you're thinking, Chris, I'm the one who needs a blessing right now. I get it. We can live lonely lives. Leading can be lonely. A manager who you have no other peer that you commonly speak, that's common, and especially in many retail environments, you may be the only manager, the only person in charge, no one to share with, no one to talk with. And it can feel like you're always just pouring out into other people and rarely being filled in return. But here's the secret. When you bless others, you stay connected to the source of that blessing yourself. And when you see what God has for other people, you begin to see it even more in yourself. It's hard to stay bitter when you're speaking life to other people. It's hard to stay empty when you're giving grace to someone. When you speak it, when you say what you see in someone else, you're able to see it in yourself. And you'll hear God's small voice the same way that you're helping someone else hear that same voice. So here's your challenge for today. I want you to speak a personal blessing over each member of your team or your inner circle. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It just needs to be genuine. You know, you can say like something, I'm thankful for the way that you bring peace and calmness into stressful situations. I pray that God will continue to use you so that you can bring calm wherever you go. Or, you have a leadership gift, and I see that gift growing within you, and I'm so excited to see how God uses you in bigger ways in the future. It's simple. It's sincere. But man, how powerful. What if someone had said that to you early on as a teen struggling to find their place, as someone in their first job, in their newest job, someone who is struggling just to figure out where they fit in, and for someone to see potential and to speak that potential into someone's life? How would that have changed you? Leadership isn't just about vision and strategy. It's about the words that you sow into other people, the atmosphere that you set, and the lives that you're able to bless, not with money, not with work, not with success, but with the very words that you say, words that matter, influence in someone's life that matters. And today you have a chance to use both to lift someone higher instead of tearing someone down. You can pick them up off the floor. You can give them the hand that they need with just a simple, sincere, heartfelt word and what you see in them and how they can be what God would have them to be. This is Leading 10. I'm Chris Moore. It is time now to go out and to lead with blessings and watch how God multiplies those blessings and in return blesses you. If this inspired you to speak life into someone else, please tap that like button. It really helps with all the different algorithms and everything. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. If you have some ideas, send them to me and share this with someone who's been blessing you. Let's spread the ripple effect of speaking into someone who can speak into someone who can speak into someone and see the world around us change. And I'll see you next time.